She's abandoned, and she's trying not to be the Empress. Abandoned Empress Volume 4. In Abandoned Empress Volume 4, Arista has been given a second chance at life. In her past life / future that she's already lived, she was raised to be the Empress by right of being the child of prophecy, only for another girl to appear from another world and replace her when she got older. That life ended in misery, but she's been given a second chance. So far things have gone well. She's made new connections, improved her relationship with her father, and is on the way to inheriting her family name rather than marrying the prince. However, are these new connections truly going to help her? Or are they putting her in more danger? Downside of this volume of Manhwa, I'd say, is Arista herself, unfortunately. She's very meek. And don't get me wrong, I don't expect every female character to be a badass, and everyone needs some softer moments. But I don't really like how it's addressed in this one, how her trauma's addressed, really. I also don't like the waves she's making, taking away some of her agency. She's doing her best, obviously, but the waves are coming out of her control now, and it's all becoming things happening to her rather than her making things happen. And that's a line. I don't like that line when it gets crossed. However, this series has kept me interested for one thing. Something interesting happened in the last couple of books that I am going to spoil. Most returner-type manhwa, from what I've seen, admittedly I'm not a manhwa expert or anything, but most of the time they go back in time, and they use their knowledge to do things perfectly this time around, or basically use it as a cheat sheet. However, Aristia does not have that kind of power. She knows what's going to happen, but it's by no means going to help her in anything. She just knows what she needs to avoid. What it has done with that history, rather than let it be just a motivator and then never bring it up again, is she's actually opened up to a few other characters about it and told them things. They've all reacted in very different ways, and the secret has gotten out quite far by this point. I think it's very interesting to see characters react to it. Obviously, the first time she said it, they assumed it was a very vivid dream. I think her dad still thinks that, but is humouring her. The most interesting one, though, is the prince himself, because he does some very bad things in the first place. Very nasty. Very, very nasty. So he's found out a little bit about this, and it is like, what? I did that? So, very interested to see how that goes along. However, I don't know if I'm interested enough to actually buy the next volume. What I'm going to do, and my recommendation for this book, is to maybe track it down on TappyTunes, which is the app that you can read some manhwa from. Webtoons and TappyTunes, kind of the two you'd go for, and this one is specifically on TappyTunes. I'm going to be going to check that out, reading a few chapters ahead, and seeing where it goes a little bit before I pick up the next physical volume, because obviously that's a money investment, and TappyTunes is not as much of a money investment. I do still recommend the series in general because the art is still very pretty. The books themselves are so aesthetically pleasing. It's kind of the main reason I picked it up in the first place. They got like this gold foil, like the art, that the fashion is so good. But in terms of actual plot, I'm starting to drift off it a little bit, so I'm going to read the next few chapters on the TappyTunes and see how we feel going forward. And that is what I have to say on Abandoned Empress Volume 4. Thank you so much for coming. Subscribe for more.